All right, now I have to tell you guys, I am not the professional. This is all new to me. I started this late fall of 2022. Several weeks back, maybe even a month ago, I made a comment that I never seem to be able to get second flush mushrooms on the fruiting blocks. Most people do, but I've never been able to, and I've tried several things. I watched a YouTube video, and I'm going to link the guy's video below, and I am really amazed at my results. Now, as we go through the video, I'll put the date of each video on here and show you the process. And I have the one that did not produce a second flush, nor did this one. Okay, here's another experiment I've got going. These are the fruiting blocks that you've seen in my other videos. Two of those I made myself, and you can tell they're the ones that are kind of squatted and fat. This other one over here, that actually came from North Spore mushrooms, but I've not had good luck on getting those mushrooms to give me a second flush. So I saw another YouTuber who said, take those out of the bag and turn them upside down. Well, I have done that, but it looks to me like I may be getting a second flush on the side. So I'm going to take this one here out as an experiment and go ahead and lay it on its side so that those pins that appear to be forming will be on top, not on the side. Okay, and as you can see through that little hole, there's one of the little pins that's starting. Let's see if they'll continue. They definitely weren't doing much just sitting in that plastic bag, because they'd been in there for several weeks and were showing no signs of any growth whatsoever. I've never been able to get more than one flush of mushrooms. I want you to look at that one. There's little flushes coming up everywhere. And the guy that I followed on YouTube just said turn it over in the bag. Well, you know me, I like to experiment. I went and bought these little I guess you'd call them plastic baskets. It's about the best, or plastic bins. That's probably a better word for them. But I bought them at the Dollar Tree and drilled some holes in the bottom, just 4 holes in each corner. And I cannot believe how many pins are coming up on these things. I'm gonna have a lot of mushrooms. I've never been able to get a second growth. I am so happy that I was smart enough to continue watching other people grow mushrooms in Martha tents on YouTube. I'm here to tell you, if you watch other people, you don't have to watch the same person. I have several that I follow, but it's important if you're trying to do something that you search out other people that are doing the same thing. And sometimes you'll find the answer to a question without even realizing what the question was. I just knew I couldn't get second flushes, and he told us, turn them over. So on his channel, he simply took them out of the bag, flipped them over in the bag. Well, the reason they're put in a bag is so that the mycelium doesn't have to compete with any other moles or anything like that. But this thing is fairly sterile. I washed those little blue bins with alcohol to sterilize them, and then I sterilized my hand, took those things out of the bag, flipped them over. I did inject a little water in each one because they will absorb all the water. But I'm just amazed, guys. I'm just amazed. There's going to be quite a few mushrooms. And if you look right here, I've got pink oyster mushrooms that I started in the bag, the mycelium, on March the 13th. And this one really is ready for me to put in the Martha tent. And so is the second one. But most importantly, over here, and it doesn't grow quite as fast, is I have my lion's mane that I cloned and started, and I'm beginning to see a good growth of mycelium in both of these bags. I'm going to end up having that Martha tent, all 3 shelves there full. Actually, there's a 4th shelf down there. I guess I could use it too. There's nothing like, and I have to keep saying it just over and over and over because I truly believe it. There's nothing like growing your own food. Today's March 25th. That's 69.6 degrees in my Martha tent. And you can see there's quite a few mushrooms on that old fruiting block, the one that I've turned upside down. And that one, it wasn't really getting anywhere. Now, that was a store-bought fruiting block. That's not one I made. And I thought, well, maybe it's not getting enough moisture. So I sterilized a knife and I cut a hole in the bottom of it. And then I took a screwdriver, sterilized it, and dug some of that out. Filled that up, that hole, twice with distilled water. So we'll see if that makes any difference. And the one that I'm most pleased with is this fruiting block. Now, this is a fruiting block that I made some time back, a white oyster mushroom. But just take a look at those mushrooms. They're even coming out of the side. And as I said before, rather than turn them upside down in the same plastic bag, I took them out of the plastic bag and put them in these little storage bins that I got from the Dollar Tree. I am so happy that I spent $1.25 on each one of these. Okay, this is the second fruiting block, and this is definitely the second flush. And I'll lay my hand over there by those, and you can see that's pretty good. And yeah, I caught that in the door, and I think I broke the tip of that finger. It's still sore. And I'm going to cut these off and put them in with the others. Okay, my bowl's a little fuller now. I'll have to trim that off when I get in the house, but that's a good harvest. And as you can see, there's still quite a few little pins there that might still make more. So this one will go down on the bottom shelf in the Martha tent. As you can see, that's pink oyster mushroom. That's a block that I started on 3/13/23. And today, of course, is 3/25, and that bag is full. And if you look real close, you can see those little pink mushrooms are starting to try to produce there. So what I'm going to do is, where I took those other 2 out of the shelf, I have 2 of these bags. I'm going to go ahead and cut the tops off of them and put them in, let them start fruiting. Okay, I've cut the top off of bag number 2 of the pink oyster mushrooms, which was also made on 3/13/23. That's when the fruiting block was made. And I'm going to go ahead and set it up on the shelf. Actually, this one will go below the other because right here, I have 2 bags of lion's mane that I made on that same day. That day I cooked up 4 fruiting blocks in the pressure cooker. So I'm going to cut those and put them in the Martha tent as well. All right, it's time for me to end today's video. My temperature's already jumped up to 71.2. My humidity's only at 57. This little system here doesn't work as well as I'd like, and that big one I just turn it on occasionally because the actual regulator is on the outside. I tried setting it up the way North Spore said with a monitor on the inside and a plug-in, but once it turns off, it won't turn back on. So I've still got work to do there. But there I have 2 new bags that I just put in today on the 25th of lion's mane fruiting blocks that I started. I have a pink oyster mushroom fruiting block I started and one down there. So I've got 4 new blocks, and I'm still waiting to see if the Italian oyster mushroom fruiting block will give us a second flush. Not sure that's going to happen. And that one that had a few pins on it, I just set it down there in the bottom. If it makes, it makes. If it starts molding, I'll pull it out. All right, now I have to tell you guys, I am not the professional. This is all new to me. I started this late fall of 2022, but I'm certainly enjoying my harvest, and I'm absolutely loving having mushrooms to fry, to put into some of the dishes I cook, and I have dried a lot of them and made mushroom powder. I'll show that to you on another video later on.